Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And today we have it's a white woman. What can I say? This is Sarah Stalker. She is a representative from the state of Kentucky. She is talking at a state education board meeting, or one of these fucking things. And she makes these comments about damning white children into guilt. Now, there's a lot of stuff being said about this woman that I just can't prove. One, that she's Jewish, that she's this, that she's that. When it comes to liberal white women, it really doesn't matter, because they think the same, they act the same, they are the same. I've always said this, and I will continue to say this, that white women are the cancer of Western civilization. It doesn't matter if they're liberal, it doesn't matter if they're conservative, it doesn't matter if they're whatever, moderate, libertarian. They cannot, in any circumstance, under any circumstances, be put in any sort of position of influence. They're not wired for it. And look at this woman's face. That is the face that shows, that's the face that your children are looking at 7-8 hours a day when they go to school. And they hear how awful their ancestors were, how awful Western civilization is, how awful colonialism is, how awful Columbus was, and how they need to pay the price for all of the revisionist Afrocentric history that is being taught and indoctrinated in these schools today, K through 12. We used to have a great holiday. Well, we still have it. Trump saved it. It was called Columbus Day. Well, we celebrated the European founding of this country. Technically, he landed in the Bahamas and the Caribbean and South and Central America, but he led the way. The Vikings also came here about 200 years before, but they didn't claim anything. But that, according to this woman, is horrible. It's an awful, awful thing. And she can say this, and she can claim this, and she can say it with impunity, because she lives under the comfort and protection of Western civilization. She can't go to Yemen and talk about how terrible the Yemenis men are. She can't go to Saudi Arabia and speak out against the policies in Saudi Arabia. First of all, she wouldn't be allowed in the building. Second of all, she'd be killed. But in America, in any Western country, she's given free rein. And not only is she given free rein to speak her mind, she's given the title of Congresswoman. So she is now in a position where she can vote and influence people to believe her sick rhetoric. And what she wants to do is she wants to damn your children. She wants to take it out on the most innocent of them all. And not Black children, not Hispanic children, not Jewish children, certainly not Asian kids. No. It is specifically white Christian children. And more so, the aim is to destroy white Christian boys. I see it firsthand. A friend of mine recently, she had a baby about 4 months ago. Her doctor told her to feed her baby soy milk. She has a son. She did some research on soy milk, and a European now study shows that soy milk destroys the I forget what it was called. I don't know if it's the gland or whatever that produces testosterone in boys. So when you feed that baby soy milk, and now that baby's going to get used to drinking soy milk, it's going to inhibit his potential to create testosterone. That's not an accident. That's not a medical, opinion. That is indoctrination. They're doing this to all these little boys, and it's not a conspiracy theory. You can't tell me, oh, come on, dude, you really believe that they're trying to do. They are. Look what they're doing to boys in sports. Look what they're doing with children, with being too competitive. Yeah, everybody gets a trophy now. There's no such thing as a winner and a loser. There's no such thing as a boys sport and a girls sport. There's no such thing as those things anymore. And it's all because white women get involved in all these things, and they should not. I'm going to tell you a story. When my son's been playing football since the age of 6. And in the AYF league that he was in, it was all guys. And the boys loved it. They play, they hit hard, they tackle, they learn how to do all these things. And listen, when they screw up, the coaches yell at them because that's what has to happen. That's how coaches react. There was one meeting 5 years later, the U10 season, where these mothers got involved, and they had to have a meeting with the coaches, and a parents coaches meeting, and they were upset that they heard the coaches yelling at the players for committing penalties or fumbles or whatever. They're just little boys. They don't know any better. They're not professionals. And like the idiot that I am, I kind of stood up and said, well, how do you think the professionals became professionals? And I got scorned looks by all these bitches. But this is what happens when women get involved in places that they don't belong. And they don't belong in 99% of the places that they're in. They belong at home. They belong in the kitchen. They belong in the home, nurturing and raising children, their children. They belong in the kitchen, feeding those children and their husbands, and they belong in the bedroom, pleasing their husbands. But old Sarah isn't going to do that because she's a congresswoman. She's way too busy for that. She's too busy trying to indoctrinate and disease your children with guilt. Here's Sarah Stalker.
I'm going to be honest. I don't feel good about being white every day for a lot of reasons. Because it's a point of privilege that I get to move through the world in a way that so many of my other colleagues and friends and family members in the community don't get.
How come nobody ever explains what that means? How does she travel through the world differently than everybody else? Does she put her pants on differently? I mean, how is she? You know why she gets treated differently? Because she's a congresswoman. Nobody ever asks that question. How are you? Give me specifics of how you're treated differently. Nobody ever does that. Here's Sarah again.
The privilege to do. And I'm just a female, but just a woman, just a white woman. If I was a white man, I would be functioning from a point of an even greater privilege.
Give me an example. Show me how white men in this country are treated so better and so differently and so aloofly than anybody else. I want to see it, because I'm going to tell you something. I don't get treated any. I got to wait online at Dunkin' Donuts just like everybody else. I have to pay I pay more taxes than probably most white women do. So maybe I should be treated differently. But anyway, sorry to interrupt, Sarah. That's my
I think we're missing an opportunity when kids have a moment to reflect about how the color of their skin does and does not allow them to move through the world. Running to them and trying to stifle that and trying to say you shouldn't feel bad, so we don't want to ever expose you to something that is going to make you have to pause and have maybe some internal feelings. It's a missed opportunity for some really good dialogue. I'm going to be honest, I don't feel good about
It's a missed opportunity for really good dialogue with a 7-year-old telling them that they suck. Schools are diseased with white liberal women, and they are literally trying to destroy the children of this country, and not the black or brown or whatever. They're trying to specifically destroy the white children of this country, because white children are taught, and you heard her say it, they are taught to hate themselves and their ancestors. I don't care if your ancestors invented the airplane, the car, they were at the forefront of the Industrial Revolution, they created Western civilization. None of that matters. They suck, and so do you. You should feel guilty about it. It doesn't matter that your ancestors created a society that millions of people flock to and illegally enter for a better life. This white woman, who I can guarantee you is a multimillionaire, who lives in St. Matthews in Louisville, which I looked it up, is 94% white population, is one of those vapid people you'll ever see, and there are millions of white women just like her. She won't live in a black neighborhood. She ain't gonna go to the fucking cookout. She's gonna be nice and comfy in her safe white neighborhood with her her government issued security or state issued security, and all the money and insider trading that privilege is going to give her because she's a congresswoman. But she doesn't want your children to feel good about themselves. Let me tell you something. She doesn't give two shits about black people. White women are the most vapid, evil people you'll ever meet. They have hell within them. Just read the Bible, the first 10 pages of it, and you'll see. They are attacking your children, and specifically white Christian boys. White Christian girls, they have the belief that they will turn into white liberal women one day, which I think is not the case with these Gen Zs and these Gen Alphas, the way they're seeing the world today. But these old white hags who need to be brought to heel will not stop until every white Christian boy they see turns trans. They won't. They won't do it. And as I said, Stalker lives in a neighborhood that is practically all white. What the fuck does she know? You talk about privilege. Could you and I live in her neighborhood? Could our kids go to the same schools her kids go to, if she has any? This is what is wrong with the country. And I know people are going to say Jews and blacks are out of control, and this and that. No. That's on the top of the list. But what is even more concerning, even more evil, are these white women. They are the cancer of Western civilization. Just look up any part of history, whether it's Greek history, Roman history, Central European history. Look at the Bible. Look at how the early church fathers talked about keeping women to heel because they'll destroy things. That's why women aren't allowed in prominent positions in the Catholic Church. Why do you think it's been around for 2,000 fucking years? Because women, it doesn't matter if it's a school board, a city, a county, a state, a country, a continent, a planet, a solar system, the universe. If you put a woman in charge, they'll find a way to destroy it. They will find a fucking way to destroy it. And that right there, when I say Satan is always busy, that is Satan at work. Satan goes through women. Women have hell within them. Eve is the mother of all women. And she turned away from God. She betrayed her husband. And Satan was her daddy. And that's why we're out of paradise. All because of that one whore. And this bitch over here wants to destroy your children. She wants to give them the forbidden fruit of Satan and lies. And we cannot allow this to happen. If that happens, if we lose another generation, there's no turning back. There just is no turning back. We cannot allow this to go on. And it's just a terrible, terrible thing. It's terrible that this is happening. It's terrible that it's white people doing this to themselves. And white women doing this to themselves. Now, Elon Musk eviscerated this anti-white woman, calling Representative Sarah Stalker, a Democrat, by the way, quote, an evil woman. I don't feel good about being white. That was the hashtag. Stalker says white kids should be guilty too. This is me speaking. This is a cancer on the West, and it has to be taken out and rooted out immediately. Otherwise, what are we fighting for? What are we living to strive for? It will be over if this continues. Let's pray to God it doesn't. And that's my 2 cents. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be careful, my friends. Satan is always busy. You just saw an example of it. Be a man, have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And just remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you later.